Hey everyone, it's Maribel Blue with a new Pathetically Unfiltered. If you are new here to this channel, please consider taking a moment by subscribing. And if you are not new, welcome back. And I wanted to say, because my my thoughts are all over the place today. If you are new and you are subscribing, or even if you're not new, please hit that bell notification. That way you will get notified when I upload a new video, because sometimes YouTube is a little funny when it comes to these things. And I also upload the same video over to my Substack. So if you are a Substack subscriber and you watch videos from there, please consider also becoming a Substack subscriber, and I will put that link down below. I want to talk about Pam Bondi. I actually did a live streaming video the other day, just for I think like 51 minutes. It was a spur of the moment thing, and I didn't get to watch the second half, which was obviously the most important half with the Epstein victims. Now, I edited my last video of Epstein. It was very hard through that editing. I was constantly getting emails and text messages about, did you see this? Did you see that? It becomes extremely overwhelming. One video I will not play on here that I watched was disturbing. And I'm at this point where I want to believe is a conspiracy theory. I don't want to believe it's real. But at this point right now, with everything that has been uncovered and what continues to be uncovered, it will not surprise me. But knowing that information, I mean, I'm thinking about it now and I want to throw up, because it's absolutely repulsive for any man to do anything to a child. You are a disgusting, vile human being, even to entertain the thoughts of doing something like that to a baby. Beyond shame. I've said this time and time again. I've been saying it since the 90s. Pedos are not redeemable people. They go to prison, they come out, and they do the same thing. They are not redeemable people. The UK and other countries, they're cleaning house. You were involved with Epstein on any level, you deserve to be punished. Howard Lucknett, who made this comment about, oh, well, I knew about the island and I still went anyway, while giving description of his children. Really? Why were you describing your children? Now, I mentioned this in my last video. Yes, of course, if you're going to an elaborate dinner and everybody needs to know who is attending, that would make the absolute sense to know what guests are coming in, how many children, if any, if it's that type of dinner where children are allowed. A lot of these sit down dinners, they don't allow children. They don't want to deal with the hassle, so to speak, of children. But when you're thinking about it on an Epstein level, that's not normal. I'm going to play a little bit of the I've Had It podcast. Jennifer Welsh had interviewed Rokana. So I'm going to play a little bit of that video, and I'm also going to play a little bit of the Lincoln Project.
All right, welcome to iHip News. We are in New York with Congressman Ro Khanna, who has been in the epicenter of the biggest cover-up in American history, I think possibly global history. And of course, I'm talking about the Epstein files. You have partnered with a strange bedfellow, a Republican, bipartisanship support to release the full files.
Well, first of all, it's good to see you in person.
You too.
I usually see you just on a Zoom screen, and
Yeah.
I appreciate your voice. It's been so disturbing and disgusting. I mean, look, I've met these survivors for months. They've come into Congressman Thomas Massie in my offices. They have broken down in tears. People talk about being raped at 13, 14, and then being told to recruit others or they're going to continue to be raped. One person said it's like a box. You can push it away, but it comes back up. So for me and Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene, this became very personal. And to see the level of people who are involved, and the most famous people and powerful people in finance, in business, in Hollywood, thinking there's nothing wrong going to a convicted pedophile's island and watching at parties where girls are being paraded naked, or knowing that young girls are being raped. I mean, it is just horrifying to me.
And I just want to add this, and I will also link again that video below. When they did the Look of the Year contest, when John Casablancas had this this contest out, and I'm talking about the video that I featured in there, they had a party where Donald Trump was in attendance of the party. Now, I have no verification according to this video if he was actually on the boat, because nobody ever mentioned, not that I recall, that he was on the boat. But the one model that was talking about it said, why were all these men, why did they have to shake their ass? That's not what she was there for, the contest. And you think about that boat ride, how they're stuck for 3 hours. I feel like I've said this hundreds of times, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again. This is their pedo playbook, how to trap young girls making promising careers or saying you can do something innocent, and it ends up turning out to be a terrifying and horrible experience. Things that you would see in movies, you don't expect to be a part of in real life.
It's genuinely horrifying. And that's why I call this the Epstein class, because if you look at the survivors, so many of them come from working class backgrounds. One of the things I found so disturbing is many of them didn't have a father, so they were being preyed on in that kind of calculated way. And the people who were abusing and raping them were rich and powerful and knew politicians and told them don't call the police. So it is just this abuse of power that people, for their own gratification, treated these folks as disposable for years.
What percentage of the Epstein files have you seen?
I have seen more than probably most, but it's still 2% or so, because they have 3 million of these files that they're allowing us to see. And the unredacted versions of just those 3 million. There are 3 million that they've totally scrubbed with the FBI, but they give us 1 hour to do it in a cubicle about the size of the studio with 4 computers. So they've kept a lot of it hidden. And I have more insight because I've got a great team, and the survivors will text me. You know, one person, without revealing her confidence, said, "Look, I was raped when I was 17 in France, and I was raped in a building by someone who had lived in the same building as Jeffrey Epstein."
And when you think about hearing these stories in other countries, keep in mind that Jean-Luc Brunel, who was in charge of Karen Models, had women shipped over there, their passports taken away. It's all in that video. I played it for you. It is all in that video, and I will link everything down below. It's very hard to play excerpts of that video because there is a copyright on it, so I cannot play it too much. The full video is on Substack and it's not copywritten, but for some reason on YouTube it's blocked from other countries, so that's also another issue. But please, I will link it on the description, both the Substack and here the YouTube video, if you can watch it.
Person's in the files, and he's left the United States and he left France because he doesn't want to be under any jurisdiction. And she's like, why aren't we investigating this person? Why aren't we prosecuting this person? And I can't tell you how many cases there are like that. They're not all famous people. They're just rich and powerful men who raped these girls, and there's no investigation. There's no prosecution. And one of them texted me after Pam Bondi, and she said, I've lost hope. Right? I mean, all the pundits are looking at this, who insulted who came out ahead? And the survivors are just saying, what is going on in this country that we can't get investigations and prosecution?
Pam Bondi, I thought her ridiculous, immature, smug performance was most of all was a direct insult to these victims, and such a flagrant expression that your voice doesn't matter. But what I have to think about is these women came forward a long time ago during the Obama administration.
Yes.
And if we take it all the way back, we have Democratic DOJs and then Trump's DOJ, where Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. And then I said that in quotes, if for those of you that are listening. And then we have Merrick Garland's DOJ, where that wasn't even investigated at all.
Correct.
And now it's back here. And because of you and your bipartisanship, we are pushing forward. And it's just unbelievable to me. I heard Jamie Raskin say that he thinks Trump's name is in the files over 1 million times.
He did. And Jamie is not one to exaggerate. I mean, he's very precise. And he looked at some of the searches and came to that conclusion. I mean, Trump's all over it, as are, by the way, people in his own cabinet and administration. I mean, the fact that Lutnick is still in the cabinet should just be horrifying, regardless of your politics. He is our representative, our face of business to the world. And he takes his family to Epstein's Island after he knows that Epstein is a convicted pedophile, and he lies about it, and then he has alleged business dealings with it. And Donald Trump, who from his own documents calls up the police in 2006 saying, I know that Epstein is doing some horrible things with young girls. He has Howard Lutnick in his cabinet, even though Lutnick was doing business with this guy after Trump called. The fact that we're not willing to say, Republicans and Democrats, that Lutnick doesn't need to go sends a message that we're just okay with this, that if you have wealth, if you have power, there's no accountability. And look at other countries. I mean, the British monarchy is in trouble. The British government may fall. Norway, the princess is not going to become queen because of the lack of public support. In Sweden and Austria, they're investigating anyone who had any correspondence with Epstein. Yet in our country, there isn't this sense of accountability.
And that is the part that is absolutely disturbing. Other countries are actually calling people out, removing them. From what I understand, a post that Aaron Parnas had put out, a woman from Goldman Sachs has resigned. The dude that was asking about or talking about the torture video with Epstein, he quit. These are people, I mean, you've got to think about it from the female perspective. Somebody like Pam Bondi, who sat there with a smug look on her face, and all of her answers had nothing to do with the questions that people were asking about. Now, again, I told you before, I'm not a political person. Like, I just jumped into this because of everything that's going on, how I want to educate myself and be informed and share with my audience everything that's going on directly from all of these other creators who are also sharing this craziness. This is diabolical. To know that other countries are putting their foot down and saying, if you were involved with Jeffrey Epstein on any level, you are out. And here we have Pam Bondi, who's just sitting there with this stupid ass look on her face, doesn't want to look at the victims, doesn't apologize to them. But yet the Dow is over 50,000 points, because that is going to make all the difference in the world for us.
To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice. Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Congresswoman, you sat before, Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General Bondi,
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question that I would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't like the answer.
Time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't
a
she
question.
ask Merrick Garland this?
I am
Twice
reclaiming
when
my
he sat in my
time, and
chair.
when I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman, the
my
gentleman has
I'm
reclaimed her
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs.
This woman is a bitch. She is a low-life bitch. Probably gonna have to beep myself out. How on earth can anyone sit there with a conscience? She doesn't have one, clearly. I'm just using this as if we were under normal circumstances, because everything that's happening right now, there's nothing normal about it. Nothing at all. We have placed ourselves in a world where we have normalized insanity. They all thought that this was just pure entertainment. We don't need to take it seriously. Oh, it's whatever. And you have people that have brought into this bullshit, have made podcasts about it, are making money with the propaganda, all for bullshit. Because when grifters find a way to make money, that's what they do. They don't care about their audience. They don't like their audience. They just want you to fork over as much money as you can. Look at what happened to those Trump watches. Didn't somebody order a watch and it came back saying rump? And you're spending hundreds of dollars on a person who clearly has been grifting for as long as he found out he can do it and get away with it, and had his daddy cheering for him. Pam Bondi went on the attack. She did not answer one single question. Instead, she had this burn book. I don't know if she was in that movie. I forget the name of the movie right now. Did she think that she was in some kind of girly movie where she was going to get everybody back? This is a country. And I understood why people in the beginning, oh, well, he's going to clean house, Trump. He's not a political person. And this is why we need somebody in there to clean house. It's a good concept because you have a lot of people who's taking PAC money, who's not really there for the American people. Everybody in Senate and Congress, right? They're supposed to be representing their district. They're supposed to represent we, the people. That is the way it's supposed to work. But somewhere along the line, a lot of us, including myself, stopped paying attention to politics, didn't care about what was going on for as long as we were taken care of as far as having a job, health insurance, whatever it was that we needed, the basic necessities. Now, a lot of people are waking up and realizing that all the rich people are gaining everything and you are not gaining one thing, not one red cent. And you will still have MAGA people talking about, well, he's doing a great job. He's getting rid of illegal immigrants. Oh, this SAVE Act thing, we're going to get rid of illegal immigrants voting. What do you think? That's somebody that can just cross the border and be like, yeah, I'm coming in here to vote. And somebody at the table is going to be like, okay, no problem. Here's a piece of paper. We'll count you in. It doesn't fucking work like that. The levels of stupidity have gone beyond anything that I want to understand anymore. This is the reason why I have stayed off TikTok. Yeah, sure. Every now and then I'll go in and listen to stupid people talk about why they support this nonsense. Now you have people who are going around saying, oh, well, now we have to protect the children. I've changed my mind. But a few hours ago, you were busy advocating for him. Now you're dragging people in a conspiracy hole just to grift people some more because you don't care. There are people who do not care. They don't care if this person is a pedo. They don't care if people have sexually assaulted minors. They don't care because they have a racist heart. And that's what this Pam Bondi is. Scam Bondi. She does not care about people. She was there to serve one person. And that is not how the United States is brought up to be. And we're going to take everything fucking back.
Hey, folks, I just want to pop on for a minute because I want to talk about what we saw today in Congress with Pam Bondi. I have low expectations for the humanity and morality and compassion for anybody involved in the Trump administration. as one should. These are soulless, horrible, terrible shitbird human beings. They're the worst of the worst. They are examples of the lowest of humanity. But I have to say two things about Pam Bondi today. When she refused to even turn and acknowledge the presence of the victims in the room, when she over and over and over and over again, instead of acknowledging the damage, the rapes, the sexual abuse, the human trafficking that was conducted by Jeffrey Epstein and his wealthy friends, when she tried to flip it over every time and blame the immigrants for something else, tried to make this into a conversation today about what immigrants are doing in the country rather than what Jeffrey Epstein did and what the people around Jeffrey Epstein have gotten away with. It tells you really something vital about Pam Bondi. I'm going to go through the three things I think it tells you most about Pam Bondi. One, her client, as you are all well aware, is not America. It's not the Department of Justice. It's not our laws or the Constitution. It is Donald Trump. She believes that the sort of clownish performance she put on today matters only because Trump likes it, and it does. It's the only reason that matters. Now, look, the Democrats tried their best to ask the questions the way they wanted to ask them. And guys, I got a couple of pointers here for later, but this is a low person. Pam Bondi's a low person. I've known Pam for 25 years. Not well, we're not friends, but I've been around Florida politics. Pam has never been a smart person, but she's always been a vicious little creature in pursuit of sucking up to the next level to enrich herself politically or personally.
I'll say it, Rick. She's a vicious little bitch. Continue.
But what you saw today, her absolute contempt for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, this should tell you something all about her character. Going through the whole showy BS today of, oh, what about this immigrant? What about that immigrant? Okay, prosecute him. Hold him accountable. Arrest him, convict him. Great. Nobody's against it. But you can see the level to which this obsesses the Trump administration. And you can see the level to which Pam Bondi was willing to reduce herself to a gibbering idiot. Because the Trump administration knows that they're still bleeding from this Epstein matter. They're going to keep bleeding from it. They know they're involved in a cover-up. They've been busted cleanly on a cover-up. Cleanly busted on a cover-up. Pam Bondi is the head of that cover-up. She has been in charge of these redactions. You'll notice that was one of the moments she got very squirrely today on the redactions. Super squirrely. Like, you could tell if Pam Bondi had a lump of coal between her knees, a diamond would have popped out. She is aware of the suffering of these victims and simply doesn't care. That's the key point here, guys, to understand something. They don't care. There is no moral center there. There is no subset of her behavior or her soul or her life where she says, you know, these victims really deserve our compassion and our attention. They deserve justice. They do not, in her mind, deserve justice. In her mind, they're just an embarrassment to Donald Trump and therefore have to be ignored, shunted, shunned, pushed aside. When you saw Dan Goldman asking if any of them had been contacted by the DOJ, and none of them had, if they tried to reach out to the DOJ and all of them had, if they were so willing to talk to the DOJ and all of them were, and Pam Bondi, her response was to throw up another 8x10 picture of some rando. Pam Bondi is a low person. She is a person who lives in a world where her obedience to Donald Trump leads to her absolute inhumanity toward these victims and her absolute despicable, repulsive, juvenile behavior toward Congress. I'm going to get to point two about Pam Bondi's character in a second, because that is something that she's going to very soon have a different world to face. She recognizes quite clearly that the world is going to change. This committee is not going to be all Jim Jordan and the Republican crew throwing her softball questions, bailing her out, letting her answer in her long-winded, Oppo research-driven BS answers, because the Republican majority is on a razor's edge right now. As I record this, there is a real possibility the majority could be gone within 24 hours.
I'm going to end it with this. Pam Bondi will probably find herself in prison along with Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon and all the little Stevies that are circling them. I believe that. Other people do not. I've heard differences of opinion. It's fine. I believe she will go to prison. Her behavior at that hearing was disgusting. The responses of, oh, they have TDS. Sweetie, that is not a real sickness. That is not on the DSM 5. There is no psychological diagnosis of TDS. That's all of MAGA bullshit. And just like I said in this storybook that I read, Miss Susie, all of the band of red squirrels who are busy fighting amongst themselves, you're going to find that everything is going to change and you will not know why because you're too busy pointing fingers, forgetting that there are 3 pointing back at you. And I'm at this point right now. Anyone who defends this regime or says, oh, all the Democrats are in there, I don't want to fucking speak to you. I will not align myself with anyone who defends pedos. End of story. Period. The end. I don't care if it's your favorite person. I don't care if it's your favorite celebrity. I don't care. These people are not redeemable people. And once you get that through your head and get out of the celebrity status of they're my favorite person, they're my favorite musician, find a way out of it because now the veil has been lifted and we're seeing everything play out in real time. As usual, feel free to comment below. You must be a subscriber in order for you to comment. Thank you for watching. And as always, remember, be good to yourself, be good to each other, and most importantly, take care of you. Bye, everybody.